Hey guys, it's Rob, and this is just looking inside the back of my Futaba 14SG, which is a radio I bought a few weeks ago, and it's proven to be a fairly good radio in the limited flying I've done so far, but I did have a couple of issues with it in the first few days. What was happening is the elevator channel was not able to center correctly, and despite how many times I actually calibrated it, it was just losing its center every time. And what I discovered was that this pot here, this is the elevator pot, was actually very loose. It was wobbling backwards and forwards, just loose in its housing. When I got to the bottom of it, what it was, there's a small single screw that secures this pot to the frame, and I'll just show you here on the aileron. This is the aileron pot right here, and just down here you can see a silver screw. Hopefully that's in focus, and that's just the single screw that holds the pot in place and stops it from moving. But anyway, on the elevator, that screw had actually worked loose just in a few days, and when I took the gimbal out and tried to tighten it up, it just refused to tighten. It would go in, and the minute I took pressure off the screwdriver, the screw would come loose. And I'd say what happened is you might be able to see some of this white grease just in here that's been put in the gimbal lubrication. I'd say some of that has actually got inside the screw and made it impossible to tighten up. So yeah, that was a bit of an issue. How I solved the problem, and probably don't recommend it unless you know what you're doing, is I used epoxy glue on all four pots, and I've actually glued them in place, and I've glued the small screw that holds them in place as well using 5-minute epoxy glue, and that seems to have worked really well. It's calibrating nicely, it's holding its center perfectly, and I've had about 30 flights on the radio so far without any issues. But another anomaly that I've noticed in this radio, and I'm not sure if it's done intentionally, I just can't see any logic for it, is there are 4 screws that hold the gimbal in place. I'll try and point them out to you. One's just down here, and one on the other side, and one in the top corner here. But the top inner position, there's actually no screw, it's just a hole. Can you see that right there? Just a hole. And it's the same on the other side, and I just don't know why that is. Just in here, there was no screw in there. So there's actually only 3 screws holding each gimbal in place. I'm not sure if it's an intentional thing. I haven't looked in my 8FGs for a long time, and I don't recall them being that way, but I'm sure if I did see screws missing I would have remembered it, but I don't, so maybe it's just either the way the 14SG is meant to be, or just my unit, they forgot to put the final 2 screws in. Every other aspect, it seems okay. I did have one small anomaly when I first powered up the radio. I selected a model with 2 ailerons, and the channel 6 was just fully deflected to one side, and I don't know what caused that. It was in the servo display, and it was just deflected fully to one side. I'll just try and show you that, even though I can't replicate it. It only happened the first time when I deleted that model. And what do we got there? Okay, I'll just put that. Okay, there's the servo display. Channel 1 and 6 are the dual ailerons, and the channel 6, the indication was all the way to the top, so it was basically stuck like that. And yeah, it didn't matter what you did with the aileron stick, the indicator was there. I deleted the model and recreated it, and I haven't been able to replicate the problem since. But yeah, there's the radio. Thanks for watching.